All right, hello. My name is Tegan Pinto, and this is my PBL project. So, to start off, chapter 3 is all about imagining the possibilities. So, when we're creating an assignment, we really want to focus on um, like the impact behind it and kind of just like pushing our expectations and thinking bigger and more creatively than the kind of content that we've been getting. So it says the goal is to design projects that can connect learning to real world situations so students feel like what they're doing actually matters. By imagining what is possible, teachers can create projects that are engaging, relevant, and purposeful for students. A main idea in chapter 3 is that you're dealing with big questions or real world problems that students can explore, and that the project should be built around important learning goals, not just activities that seem fun and lack purpose. So, like some of the projects that you can come up with could be like just fun or aesthetics, but does that really reach your end goal and like meeting your content that you're supposed to be teaching? Students are encouraged to create meaningful projects such as presentations, solutions, or creative work that they can share with others. Chapter 3 is important because students become more motivated and involved with their learning. You're giving them this kind of creative outlet to while teaching alongside it, where they're able to really kind of explore outside of the box concepts themselves, um, and that they're able to really put what they're learning into pen and paper. So in quote, like they're able to kind of creatively express what they're learning, and that takes space in their brain. Um, Chapter 4 is the strategies for discovery, and it's basically about building a strong framework. Successful project-based learning needs clear structure, so it can't just be giving a basic one-over kind of idea about what you're going to be learning. It kind of emphasizes the importance of aligning projects with standards and scales, so structures students are learning what they are supposed to do while working. This also goes into what chapter 5 is about, but I guess it's chapter 4. So highlighting planning and assessments is basically you should be checking in with students throughout the entire process. You should be giving feedback because those feedback is also a learning opportunity. And the most important part of project-based learning is clear expectations. And that also has to do with chapter 3, how an assignment has to have real world, the kind of like input, and it can't just be for creative, it should be goal set. Because if you have these goals, then it's easier to set clear expectations and it helps students stay on track. It's not just about the final project. Technology is presented a helpful tool, organized work, collaborating, presenting projects. Overall, Chapter 4 shows that well-planned structure helps students succeed and make project-based learning more effective. And this is what I was talking about, Chapter 5. It basically talks about that you should be checking in with students very often while these projects are happening to show that what they're learning actually has made some sort of impact. Formative assessments help students improve as they work by giving feedback, checking progress, and guided reflections, while summative assessments evaluates the final project and performance. This chapter also highlights the use of tools like rubrics, portfolios, and self-peer assessments to make assessments clearer. Chapter 5 emphasizes that assessment should support learning, not just judge it. The author explains that in project-based learning, students learn best when they receive feedback throughout the project. So you're doing constant kind of knowledge check-ins, constant support given to the students that also help them learn. Because if they're going on a completely different direction than you envisioned, even with these clear expectations, a constant check will check that on week 1 instead of week 4 when the project is due, leading to a bad grade for the student, which also will probably deter their want to learn. They also need to be involved in assessment. That's why peer assessments are so helpful. Students are encouraged to reflect on their work and participate in peer assessments. This helps take their ownership of their learning and better understanding expectations. Tools like rubrics and explainers are important because they clearly show what quality work looks like. Uh, I I agree because because even if they're too scared to be presenting it to you, or you don't have time to kind of go one by one on everyone's project, if they see that everyone is doing something differently than they are, that in themselves is going to be a learning opportunity. Exemplars. All right, this is my citation. I only used the book, and that's the end. I had so much fun in this class. It was so helpful. It was so informative, and I really appreciate everything you did. Thank you so, so much. Thank you. Sorry, I was laying here during my project assignment.